Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carlo Prusa MMA. I have a guest that I hired on last week, and about 8 days later, he is literally the newest member of the UFC roster and family. He is Mr. Blue Collar. He is Nick Klein. Nick, you're able to get the job done last night at the Contender Series, man. What an amazing victory for you. Took on Heraldo Souza. 8 days out, main event opportunity. You finished them in 37 seconds. Has the feeling worn off, man? What's going through your head?
It's all I don't really think I'm seeing like the full scope of things yet. It's all kind of still setting in. It took kind of hours just to catch up with the social media that's kind of taken off on my phone and stuff. And really, since the win, I've just kind of been hanging out with family. They all just left, and I just got some dinner now, and me and Mama have some time to just be alone. We've got tonight together yet, and then tomorrow at 3:00 we fly back home to the kids. So really, just gonna try and enjoy this last night here, and half the day tomorrow, and go back to regular life back home.
Now, walk me through that finish, man. You were able to get him down early, and I mean, you almost had that choke a little earlier. It looks like you kind of got out of it a little bit. You got it right back, and that thing was as tight as could be. Walk me through that finishing sequence.
Yeah. So I kind of in the past I've always used punches to kind of set up submissions, and so I landed a couple of those punches. I kind of teeped him back because I could tell he wanted to close on me right away. And I kind of just used that as just a distance keeper, like a manager, and kind of felt how light he was, how easy it was to push him back. And I knew that he knew that it landed good, so he was going to want to come in with a combination right away. It was a read that I could make, and I'm like, I think there'll be a leg there for me. And obviously the takedown was almost effortless, and then I went to just posture up, land a couple of strikes, and have done that countless times where I'll land a couple punches, guys will turn away, and the second they turn away, I'll go to slide that rear naked choke in. He obviously had good defense and went to hide his chin a little bit, and so I turned it into like a short rear naked choke, more of like a trachea crush. And I think you could see, how red his head got, and just the panic in his face. It set in pretty quick, and I've got a hell of a squeeze, and it paid off for me.
Following that victory, I'm sure so many emotions, so many things are going through your head. Obviously, you're very jacked up on it. Before last week when we talked, you mentioned in an ideal world, you wanted to do an amazing finish, look at Dana White and say, hey, we'll be in touch. Were you screaming that at him?
Yeah, I got to say just that, and I added a little bit extra to it too. So I think anyone who watches, who's been watching Dana kind of the past couple months, there's been all of that argument over who the greatest fighter of all time is, and Dana's been standing on John Jones, and I agree with that. And I kind of thought it's really funny that he's been signing off some of his social media videos with it lately. So I finished the fight, and then I kind of did like a 360 because I was trying to find what part of the or what panel of the cage he was behind, and he sat back a little bit further. So I kind of did like a full 360, trying to figure out where he was, and then walked toward the panel. Said we'll be in touch, and I said, and John Jones is the greatest fucking fighter to ever walk this earth, and he laughed, and then Mick Maynard kind of chuckled pretty good too. So it was cool to get to say exactly what I wanted to, and to make the guys laugh a little bit. And then I walked past Paul Felder, and I looked at him, and I said, you're looking at a new middleweight. And I could see not necessarily shock in his face, but like there was no denying me for what I wanted.
I mean, was it pretty clear at that point? I mean, you had to have known you got the contract, right? That wasn't even a question.
Everything unfolded so fast. I didn't really have time because I was the last fight. I literally went over, did my interview with Laura Sanko, and then they put me right in the last chair there. And Dana White got to talking, and I could I knew as soon as he got to me that he was going to sign me, but you never know. I would have thought that younger girl was going to get signed too, and Dana made the choice to give her some more time. I think he's right on that. She's 8-0 and she just turned 20. So much time for her, and I think he's doing her a positive positive favor to build her a little bit more. And I no doubt she'll be wearing a belt one day. If she's doing that already at 20, I mean, she fought a grown woman. So when he didn't sign her, I was like, well, I didn't just turn 20. I'm almost 30, and I think I closed the season out pretty good. I was pretty sure, man, but there's always that sliver of doubt, and ultimately it's up to him.
You mentioned when the first time we talked that it was only like 2 days before you found out you were fighting. You even looked at the opponent. You haven't watched tape or anything. Was there
No,
a time that you studied at all before the fight?
no, not at all. I'll give you I'll give you a funny line from my coach. So they know, obviously how I struggle. I struggle with kind of just the mental roller coaster of camp, and going into the fight in every camp. And I asked my coach Jake. I said, "Is there anything I need to that I should look out for in the cage?" And he's like, "Yeah, just your enormous nutsack getting in the way. Now go crush this motherfucker." And it was the confident statement that I needed to hear in the back, So I didn't watch any film. My coaches had a couple pointers of key things they just wanted me to look out for, and obviously in my head, even though I didn't get a chance to really look at them, and your mind is always going to make things out to be monstrosities, and then you get in there in person with things and you live in the moment. And I closed it out the way I did. So.
Obviously coming into the contest, you took the fight on such short notice. It was supposed to be a Wesley and somebody else. And originally this guy was supposed to fight like 3 different people. He
Yeah.
gets you. If you watched any of the prediction videos, not many people were picking you. You were a very big underdog. With that going in there, did you benefit, you think, from that? Did that kind of give you a freeing feeling a little bit where it's like, you know what, F it, we're going to go out and whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, I actually said that on ESPN last night, or just the post-fight Contender series broadcast, that I've kind of always been the underdog in a lot of my fights, and it is kind of freeing. If everyone's expecting me to lose, it's like, cool. I have all the motives to prove you wrong, and it just gives me confidence, and when someone's got nothing to lose, I think that's when they're at their most dangerous, and when everybody's counting me out, it's motivating. So,
During that interview with Laura Senko, very cool moment, man. You got to see your little girl. She's holding up the sign and everything. Obviously, you got pretty emotional, but what was that like for you?
super surreal, man, because it's something I've been envisioning for years. And there's been a lot of difficult days in between starting and where I'm sitting right now, and wondering if I was making the right choice to be gone from them all of this time. And I think them being able to look back at this TV show one day and just be able to see where Dad was able to take things, when he put his heart and mind to it, and had a beautiful partner to help him along the way too. What can be in store for you. So I don't care. Like I said, on the broadcast last night, I don't care what they do. I want them to make sure they go for their dreams.
What was it like being able to celebrate that with the Pura Vida guys and Zach?
Super cool. I mean, we really just came back to the hotel. We ate some pizza, and then I kind of went out with my family. I'm going to see them in the gym on Saturday. I'm going right back to practice on Saturday. I made the statement last night that I'd like to fight in the UFC before the end of the year. And if I'm allowed that opportunity, I'll happily take it. Otherwise, if they want to take their time with me, and make sure that they're setting up the right matches, I can oblige that too. I'd be happy to have the UFC build me in the way that they want. So, but if they need a short notice guy, I'm completely uninjured and in shape. So,
What has it been like in Vegas today? People recognize you walking around?
a couple people here and there, man, but Vegas is so full of famous faces and interesting people that you kind of can blend in. You could walk in any given casino one day and Mike Tyson might be walking through there. What was kind of cool though, last night I said, Anthony Hernandez and Michelle Pereira are fighting at the Apex this Saturday. Today's Wednesday and they're flying a lot of those guys in now. And it was funny because I came out of the elevator this morning and I basically bumped right into Anthony Hernandez and kind of just gave a nod to him, and he said, "What's up to me?" And, I don't know if he's seen my performance last night or anything, but it's cool to think that I might be on, those guys' radar now, and that they got a new middleweight to look out for.
Absolutely. What about social media? Has the phone been buzzing every 5 seconds?
Yeah, I actually finally caught up with it when me and my girl just went to go sit down and have some dinner. I replied to hundreds and hundreds of Instagram messages of people that I've never met, and not typing out messages or anything, just opening them and, giving them like the heart response or, the thumbs up or whatever. Just letting them know that, their message was seen by me. But a ton of people telling me that, my story and just the way I portrayed myself was inspiring to them. And, a bunch of people just telling me what a great job I did. And it's super cool to have that kind of feedback from the MMA community, especially because I know how brutal the fans can be. So it's cool that I'm someone that looks like they like.
That was pretty amazing, man. You get that job done. One of the first things that we hear you say is, I'm never going to change. This is not going to change me. Now that you're developing a bit of a platform, you're going to be fighting in the biggest MMA organization in the world. Do you feel like you kind of use this platform to maybe give back and, help some others?
Yeah, I think I just want to keep being myself, and I don't know, maybe start fun little trendy videos with my teammates, just because I shouted them out last night too, and I really believe that when I said it too. I've got, like I said, I've got 3 main training partners all my size back home, and they're a huge part of why I was able to do the job that I did in the cage. We're constantly testing each other and trying to elevate each other's skills. And I think it'd be really cool if we started our own little maybe TikTok channel or something, just to help generate views for each other. And if me maybe having a little bit of a platform to get us kickstarted on that helps, it's awesome. I'd love to take them with on that little ride as well.
Now you mentioned it, you want to hopefully get a fight in. How soon would it be up to you? What would be more realistic? December?
I'm going to go right back to training, man. So like I said, if a good fight or good opportunity opens up, like I said, I'm in shape right now. If one of those guys this Saturday falls out, I'd be happy to step in. Otherwise, we'll just see what happens. We'll see what the UFC has planned for me. Part of the reason I got into this sport was to travel. So if there's UFC cards, in different countries coming up, I'll jump all over it. I'm happy to fly across the pond to any given country and see a different part of the world doing this. And that was one of the main driving factors to keep me motivated, and a huge fun part of being a part of this culture and this lifestyle.
This whole story is crazy. I mean, you were supposed to fight in Iowa on a regional show last Saturday. Has that been something that's been going through your head today? It's like, man, like 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't even have seen this coming.
Yeah. I guess when the stars align right, man, it's crazy the things that can happen. Just super fortunate to be surrounded by the people that I am and have the connections that I do, and get to have opportunities like this to take advantage of. And I made damn sure that I wasn't going to go on last night and be made a sucker of. Just happy I got to perform the way I would have liked. I was super nervous in the back, watching these guys go to war out there before me, because the whole time I'm looking like, man, how am I going to close this show out? I was more scared of being boring than I was of actually losing the fight, just because I know that can be more dangerous when those guys are looking at you. If you go out there and go out on your shield, but you threw a war down, they're going to bring you back, and my style at times has been a little bit stagnant. And that was honestly my biggest fear was being boring, but I think it was anything but that. So I'm really happy I got to go out there and perform the way I did, and portray myself the way that I was seen, because it's really me.
Throughout your journey here in combat sports, you sacrificed a lot. You mentioned the 45 minutes to the gym, being away from your family, working the very blue-collar lifestyle, not making much money on the regional scene, training day in and training day out with a bunch of killers, going back home, taking care of your kids. Does it really signify that sacrifices were all worth it?
Yeah, 100%. But on the same page, it's not like a big relief of pressure. Neither, in a way, it's almost like now the real work begins. This just merits everything that I've put in to get here. Now it's time to show them why I belong.
Would you say the goal now changes as well? Like, does your overall goal for your MMA career, does that change?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, man. For the longest time, the goal was like, dude, if I could just touch the UFC, you know, uh, and now being here, obviously, yeah, the goal totally changes. I'm gonna just see how well I can do with my first contract. If I'm 4-0 on my first contract. If I sign a 4-fight contract, I'm not really sure how all of that works. But if I start racking up wins in notable fashion, then clearly we got, we're cooking with gas. We got something to work with. But if I go 0-4, then maybe it's time to, just think about possibly a different career path or things I can change in my game to start getting those wins should the UFC want to keep me.
It's kind of crazy to think of your agency right now, Iridium. So many guys on the Contender this year. So many guys that won. Obviously, Ramus, Malcolm Wellmaker, Austin Bashi, a bunch of others, yourself. Iridium really looks like an agency. It has a lot of young fighters, a lot of young guys getting the UFC. You think you guys are going to be the face of mixed martial arts?
I'm not sure. I know Iridium's got a lot of guys. I can say firsthand that everybody who's a part of that agency has been nothing but awesome to me. But I have no, I guess I haven't really followed like Iridium's wins and losses too closely. But I can definitely speak to the wholesomeness of the agency and just how good they are to their guys. I just went out to dinner with a bunch of them the other night, and they obviously were all super excited for me. And then to close out the show the way I did, they were obviously all ecstatic. So it's good to know that they can give me opportunities and I can make the best of them.
The sport has changed so much from the last 15, 20 years. And I think a big part, and I think Conor McGregor had a lot to do with this, was the adaptation of personality. It's very entertainment driven now. You can be a great fighter, be a complete mixed martial artist, great. But if you're a guy that's charismatic, you're a guy that, the fans really like, you're popular. Well, we've seen with some guys that eases their path. They get the money fights, they get the title shots maybe a little quicker. You're a guy, you have a charisma, but it's natural. You're not putting on a facade like some of these other guys. You're being who you are. Do you think in addition to your skill, do you think that's going to help you?
Yeah, I hope so. Just because I don't really see myself trying to put on some fake kind of character anyway. I think if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to be, who I am and put on for the people that, have really been there for me and that I respect and want to represent and, take it as far as I can.
What do you want your kids to take away from this combat sports journey?
Boy, I don't know. Just to go for their dreams, man. Follow what they want to do and go for it.
Awesome. All right, Nick, last question for you, my friend. We got a few months here left of 2024. Obviously, 2025 could be a huge breakout year for you. In that perfect world, what does the next year look like for Nick Klein?
4-0 on a UFC contract and then renegotiate, for pay, depending on how good those finishes and stuff were. I know you gotta put on and show out, if you're going to start asking for more money. So I want to do just that and, use that money to reinvest the right way and just set up myself and my family for the future.
Absolutely, man. Hey, thank you so much for talking to me again. Last time when we talked, I told you I was 3-3 on my last Contender guys I interviewed. You said, hey, I'm going to make it 4-4. You did it, and you did it quick, man. But I really appreciate it, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So that's it for us tonight. That is Nick Blue Collar Klein. I'm the Fight Doctor, Carlo Prusa. Stick around.
Take care, guys.